Hello, and welcome to this video on literacy factors, ease of reading, and transfer to other languages. When we make an orthography, it is real people who will use it. Their eyes move in certain ways, and their brains make sense of what they see. Often, they want to read and write in other languages too.
In this video, we talk about both of these. Just looking at the shape of a letter, what makes it hard or easy to recognize? We call this visual processing. And how does the local orthography connect to the national language or another major language? These things can affect which letters you choose. We will not talk here about how to teach the orthography. This is important, but we talk here about choices in developing the orthography, not what you do with it after it has been made.
You said the shape of a letter is important. Why is that?
Our eyes see how objects are different. If objects look similar, we stop to see if they really are the same. If different letters look too much alike, then they are harder for new readers to learn and harder to read. So we want to make letters as different from each other as we can. European languages have several letters that look alike. These are different only by which way they face. A chair in different positions is still a chair, but this is not true with letters. So these letters are actually not the best choices, but you will probably have to use them anyway, since many national languages have them.
But there's a more common problem with appearance that many languages have.
Yes, this problem is about diacritics, extra marks above or below the letter. These might mark tone or something else. Readers' eyes move along the line, and it takes extra effort to move your eye up or down, even a little. So it is easy for the reader to miss what is above or below the line, and diacritics make the letter harder to recognize. This is really bad if you have more than one diacritic on a letter, like this. That one is a mess. You do need diacritics sometimes, but try to use only a few, not a lot. If you have a diacritic on every vowel, this will be harder to read. Thinking only about visual processing, which of these would be better? The second one has a diacritic. It also looks like the normal E letter. So, thinking only of visual processing, the first one would be better because it has a different shape than the E and no diacritic. There is sometimes another complication. Sometimes whiteboards or papers have extra smudge marks, and it is hard to tell if these are diacritics or not. People can get used to ignoring those extra little marks.
What about apostrophes, such as having both of these for different sounds?
Like diacritics, apostrophes are also above the line of reading and easy to miss. K and K apostrophe look almost the same. It's easy to forget to write these differently. So, it is not recommended to use apostrophes to tell one letter from another, though you can use them for other things.
You're talking about visual processing. That is important, but sometimes other things can be more important.
True. For example, if you have a tone language, and tone makes a difference in the meaning of lots of words, or in the grammar, diacritics can help tell one word from another. See videos number 10 and number 11 on tone. Readers need to be able to tell one word from another. It is more important to mark a word accurately than to avoid diacritics. If you don't, then people will stop and say, what word is this? Also, usually you want to have a symbol for every sound that makes a difference in meaning. But if a vowel or consonant is very rare, it may be okay to not represent it.
What if different people say words differently? How does this connect to making reading easier?
Sometimes people say words differently because they have different dialects. See video number 8 on dialects. There are other reasons too. Here are 2 pieces of advice about these. First, languages have 2 kinds of words: content words and function words. Content words are things, like food, head, tree. Content words are also actions, like hit, eat, run. Sometimes languages have other kinds of content words too. Function words are different. They are the little words that help the grammar hold together, like the, now, for, he, if, and others. How you say function words can change because of the word next to them. For example, in the table and the orange, THE is pronounced differently. The table, the orange. But it is spelled the same. And that is a good idea, to spell function words the same all the time, even if they are pronounced differently in some cases.
Okay, what is the other piece of advice?
Another reason people say words differently is that languages change over the years. Sometimes older people and younger people pronounce words differently. In 30 years, the language will be like young people say it today. We do want the orthography to be used then, so think about having the orthography represent how younger speakers speak. Of course, respect for elders may push you to do the opposite of this, represent how older people speak. So these are not unbreakable rules, but some ideas to think about.
I see that knowing how people read can affect orthography decisions. Besides that, people often want to read in both their own language and the national language.
Definitely. Learning to read in one language, then learning to read a different language is called transfer. Transfer to a national language and from a national language can affect the orthography of the local language. To begin with, reading is only learned once. That means the basic skills of reading, knowing that a letter stands for a sound, that you start at the top of a page, that you read from left to right, and so forth. These are skills that you only learn once. It is easier to learn these if you are doing it in your own language. We want to make the first experience of reading as easy as possible.
Today, many local language speakers already know how to read the national language, even if their own language has not been written. How does this affect orthography decisions?
It's important. To help these speakers transfer to their local language, the local language orthography should use the same letters as the national language does, as much as possible. You also want to use the same alphabet list order and rules of capitalization and punctuation, if possible. This will help readers who know the national language to read their own language more easily. But it goes the other way too. It also helps local language speakers learn to read the national language. Of course, the languages will usually have differences. Maybe one language has a sound the other one does not have. But much will be the same, and when choosing letters, making it look like the national language is a good idea. A special case is when the national language has a sound that the local language does not, and the local language borrows names from that national language. In this case, you may want to include a letter in the local orthography that does not occur in local words.
If there are important differences in the two languages, it would be helpful to write something to explain those differences.
Yes, we could call this a transfer book. This will be for people who already know how to read the national language. It will show what the differences are. This will be a different book than the ones that are made for new readers. Also, as long as we are talking about national languages, remember that the national government may have policies about new orthographies, and you should find out about these.
As usual, it seems that one piece of advice can point in one direction, but another piece of advice will point in a different direction.
Yes, this is like life in general. You need to think about several factors and decide which are the most important. For example, how do you write the ch sound? To keep it simple, we will talk about only two choices, C or CH. The single letter C is visually simple and easy to read, and we don't use it for anything else in that language. But CH is still not too visually complicated, and the national language uses CH. There is also an identity issue. Do people want it to look like the national language or not? Which of these factors is most important? Different groups can give different answers.
Most of the time, you will need to change or revise an orthography after its first stage.
Yes, almost every orthography will need to be revised. See video number 5 on stages of an orthography. All the ideas in this video are good to think about when you revise an orthography, not only when it starts. Also, don't forget to watch how people write. This can often tell you what they are thinking.
Does it make a difference in orthography planning if people are new readers or if they have a lot of experience?
New readers need all the help they can get. So, aim the orthography at new readers as much as possible. But as people read and write more, they read differently. They don't read letter by letter, but they learn to recognize whole words. As readers gain experience, they may stop writing some things that new readers find necessary, like diacritics. And the kind of reading material makes a difference. If someone writes a phone text to someone or a handwritten note, it is less important to follow all the orthography rules. This is because the person reading it will know the topic and also know the person sending it. But for something that is published, whether it is the Bible or another book, it is important to follow the rules closely.
Let's end with the big questions we have talked about here. What will make it easier for someone to read? What will make it easier to write? What will make it easier to transfer reading to other languages? It is important to think about all of these and decide which is most important for you.